Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a sit-down chat video. You guys can clearly tell that it's Ultimate Team in EA NHL 25. I am playing squad battles, yes. It's just to have these sit-down conversations because I'd much rather focus on you guys here on YouTube instead of focus on a game that's way beyond its cycle in terms of the new game coming out in less than 2 months. It's rumored to come out in less than 2 months. It could be earlier, it could be later, we don't know. Generally speaking, they usually hit around October, but maybe this year we might get it last week of September, is the rumor I've been hearing. But other than that, let's talk about my plans for this YouTube channel. As you guys can tell, over the last couple of weeks, I've deleted probably 95 to 100% of all my videos on this YouTube channel, mainly because, as everybody says, they weren't the greatest quality videos. They weren't, stuck to a niche. They weren't in a specific system that I liked. I was just posting to post. Whatever game I felt like playing, I would post. And I'm not at that level yet where I can have that, freedom. So I've decided to bite the bullet, bite the 45,000 view bullet, and just delete the entire video base of the channel. Over 200 videos gone. About 60, 70 shorts gone, mainly because they didn't fit my niche, they didn't fit my system, they didn't fit my new system, I should say. They fit my system previously, which was just play, random games until I felt bored of the other ones. But now the system is going to go as follows. NHL 25, no matter what game mode it is, NHL 25 will take priority over Fragpunk. Mainly because Fragpunk, don't get me wrong, is a really fun game when you're on it and having fun. But it's hard to make content on. So I'm basing that off of just the lack of creativity in terms of how could we make a series out of that. What, we can do the same video of, teammate builds my loadout, teammate picks my character / Lancer, or we could stick to NHL as the long-term videos, and we can, do series on a specific player, specific team, specific setup, and it'll be a lot easier for me to wrap my head around creating a series over NHL than it is Fragpunk, mainly because I've played NHL my entire life, and I've just started playing Fragpunk as it came out in March. Plans for the future with this YouTube channel. Honestly, I have a pretty solid plan. Like, in terms of from now until NHL 26's release, we're going to be doing NHL and Fragpunk week on, week off. Meaning, on the NHL off days, we'll be doing Fragpunk videos. And on the days where NHL is on, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll be doing an NHL video, whether it's Ultimate Team or World of Chel. I don't know. Fragpunk will be on the off days for NHL. So everything other than Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday will have a Fragpunk video of some sort, whether it's just me doing a kind of style video like this, where I'm playing a game of Fragpunk and I'm just chatting with you guys. Or I have a set plan with a set series by, next week, most likely is when I'll have it. I'm thinking of starting a series with Fragpunk of, maybe where we try each other's settings and see who does better with each other's settings. Kind of like, ADS sensitivity, per optic sensitivity. It'll be interesting to see how other people play the game. And it'll be, a challenge at first, and then you'll get used to it, and it'll be more fun. Then, obviously, once I get a little better at the game, my plan is to start a Road to Punk Master, which is their version of Apex Predator, if you've played Apex Legends, their version of Champion, if you've played Siege. I don't know the one for COD, but, their highest rank in COD is similar, and obviously, that's going to take a couple of months to possibly a year or two before I'm even, considered capable of pulling off a challenge like that, mainly because I don't want to go into a challenge and then quit halfway through because it's impossible to make it. I want to be definitive that I can hit that goal. And after a year of play, I think I can hit that goal. It's just based on how long we're even going to play the game, because you never know. With how game systems work today and, schedules and content releases, a new game could pop up out of nowhere. Like, I'm talking within the next 2-3 days, a new game could come out and we could all be playing that and forget about Fragpunk. That's the sad part and the sad reality of, the smaller game companies and the smaller game studios. You could have fun playing their game for a couple of weeks to months, but then a new game comes out that you really want to play, or your friends really want to play it, and you buy it, or they buy it for you, and you lose those, fun little random one-off games. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, we played Grounded for 3 months. That little game where you're not invisible, you're tiny in your parents' backyard because your parents shrunk you, and you have to fight your way through the garden, tackling all bad bugs and, get everything to get yourself back to normal. But I'm rambling. Again, NHL has been the forefront for this YouTube channel ever since it started in NHL 20. I had a good plan, a good system then for NHL. I remember, NHL Hot Rush was a really easy way to make content, because I'd play a couple games a day, find a video out of it, cut it all together, splice it together, and then just make a funny, weird video out of it. And it sucked that I lost that system because I took a break from NHL because it was during COVID, where I had to take a 6-month break from the channel, and that's where I gave up on the channel because I just didn't have the motivation. I didn't have the will to start making content again. And now that I'm back, 5 years later, I do apologize about that. I barely made content over the last couple of years. But starting this week, I'm going to be trying to make at least a couple episodes of something a week, meaning maybe it's a video of Wilbert and Gilbert, our new series for World of Chel in NHL, or it's a Fragpunk video. It's just based on who's playing, who's on, and when they're available, and if I feel like making a video. 9 times out of 10, if I'm playing games, I'm going to be thinking about making a video. So be prepared. Like, I might just release something randomly. I'll come up with a full schedule eventually. Like, I'm talking, maybe I'll follow Monday, Wednesday, Friday as my upload schedule, where I make the video the day of the NHL on day, and then I post it later that night. And then for Fragpunk, I post it later the next morning, just to give it a chance to, mull over, and I can actually see if I can edit it a little bit, give it some life rather than shelf it. Because the last thing I want to do is have a video get shelf life. Because I've had that happen in the past with friends' channels that I would work with. And we would make videos, and they were really funny videos in Siege. Like, during Rainbow Six Siege, during that era, 2019 to 2023, we'd play like 1,000 games of Siege during those 3 years, maybe more, almost 1,000. I've got 960 games played, 1,300 hours, and we'd just do funny moments. Every game we'd play, we record, and we'd splice over the month. We'd splice the video together and post it out on a channel that we sadly had to give up on because, everybody fell out of love with Siege, mainly because Ubisoft, the company behind it, hadn't really made any updates in about 2-3 months, and we just gave up on it, started playing COD, did some COD videos. The COD videos didn't do as well as the Siege videos, and we just, gave up on the channel. It sucks, but, that's what happens when you put people in a group that work well together and mesh well together, have great chemistry, but they just don't have the creative chemistry. They don't have the creative chemistry of a collective. Like, we're all really good creators away from a collective group, but we can't seem to figure out why it's not working together, because all of our content ideas, they mesh together in ways they shouldn't. For an example, 2 of us, I know for a fact, have the idea of creating a channel for, just shits and giggles, quite literally, just shits and giggles, something to look back on, to have memories of are days of playing video games together, because let's be honest, every friend group has gone through this. During your teenage years, during your younger years, like myself and my friends, we would play games together all the time. We'd go to school in the morning, we'd plan to play games later that night after school and homework, and we'd stay up till all ungodly hours during the weekend, the whole 9 yards. Energy drinks, chips, popcorn, snacks, drinks, like everything. And once you get older, you realize that you're wasting a lot of your good years playing games with friends when you could go hang out in person with friends. Don't get me wrong, I love doing that. I love hanging out with my friends in person. But something about sitting behind a screen, hanging out with friends, just shooting the shit, doing stupid stuff in games that really don't matter half the time. It's just something fun about that. Something really, nostalgic about that. But, sadly, everybody, life got in the way. People started distancing themselves. A lot of them are in school, so it makes sense that they're distancing themselves to get their post-secondary done. But it's sad. It hurts when, I try and get people on for at least a couple games, and everybody's like, yo, we're busy, we can't do anything, we got work, we got school, we got projects to do. I get it. It's, part of life. But eventually, I just hope that we can have that, connection again and bring content back to YouTube, whether it's, through stream highlights of us just screwing around like we used to do, or we get into a Discord call and set down a weekend and just play like old times. It's kind of hard now, but we could try and get it to work, and maybe we can get people to be convinced to appear on this channel, on my channel again. Just to have that semblance of the crew being back together. There's 4 or 5 of us. You have heard majority of their voices before if you've been in my streams. My old YouTube videos had all of them in it whenever we played Siege or Modern Warfare or World War II, which is the Call of Duty games. Other than that, this is the final, closing part of the video here. I do appreciate everybody that came back to the channel. I do appreciate everybody that's going to join the channel. Welcome to the ride. This is going to be a very, very, very slow-paced grow. I know that from experience, and once I pick up and find a system that I do like and enjoy, friends and enjoy, becoming a part of that, if we can get it eventually, I just want to say thanks for, the ride, and here we go. The year begins. Have a good one. Bye-bye.